Two of the smartest AI models on the planet just entered the ring.
GPT 5.4 thinking versus Claude Opus 4.6 thinking. Both claim deeper reasoning and longer thought chains, but which AI actually thinks better? Welcome back to NeuroWire Signal, the channel where we break down the most important AI breakthroughs shaping the future. If you want to stay ahead of the AI revolution, make sure to like the video and subscribe. It helps us keep bringing deep analysis instead of surface hype. Today, we're comparing two of the most powerful reasoning models ever released, GPT 5.4 thinking and Claude Opus 4.6 thinking. Both promise advanced step-by-step reasoning, better logic, and more reliable answers. But when it comes to real intelligence, architecture and philosophy matter. Let's break down how these two systems actually think. The rise of thinking mode in AI. The latest generation of AI models is shifting away from simple prompt response systems towards something more sophisticated, structured reasoning. Instead of immediately generating answers, these models internally simulate chains of thought. They analyze the problem, evaluate possible solutions, and refine the answer before delivering a response. This approach dramatically improves performance on complex tasks like mathematics, coding, scientific reasoning, and multi-step planning. Both GPT 5.4 thinking and Claude Opus 4.6 thinking represent the newest evolution of this concept. Rather than reacting instantly, these models effectively pause to reason through problems.
That pause can mean the difference between a guess and a calculated solution.
GPT 5.4 thinking, deep computational reasoning. The GPT 5.4 thinking mode is built around extended reasoning loops. Instead of producing a single response pathway, the system evaluates multiple potential solution paths before selecting the most coherent one. In practical terms, this means GPT 5.4 thinking excels at complex problems requiring structured logic. Complex programming challenges, advanced mathematics, and multi-layer analysis benefit from this architecture. The system tends to break problems into smaller components, analyze them sequentially, and then synthesize the final answer. Another defining feature is long context comprehension. GPT 5.4 thinking can process extremely large documents and maintain coherence across them. For research, technical documentation, or legal analysis, this ability becomes crucial. This model behaves less like a chatbot and more like a reasoning engine. Claude Opus 4.6 thinking, reflective reasoning.
On the other side of the competition is Claude Opus 4.6, developed by Anthropic.
Claude's approach to reasoning is slightly different. Instead of focusing purely on computational branching, Claude emphasizes reflective reasoning. The model tends to internally critique its own answers before finalizing them. In many tasks, this results in responses that are cautious, well-structured, and highly contextual. Claude Opus 4.6 often performs extremely well in philosophical reasoning, long-form writing, policy analysis, and nuanced argumentation. It excels when problems require balancing multiple perspectives, rather than computing a single optimal solution. Where GPT 5.4 acts like a high-speed analytical engine, Claude behaves more like a careful researcher. Speed versus depth. One of the clearest differences between these systems is response style. GPT 5.4 thinking tends to move quickly through reasoning trees. It evaluates possibilities efficiently and produces a confident answer. This makes it excellent for tasks where precision and speed are critical, such as debugging code or solving technical puzzles. Claude Opus 4.6, by contrast, often appears slower because it expands on reasoning steps and explores contextual implications. That can make it feel more thoughtful in narrative tasks, but sometimes less decisive in highly technical problem solving. Neither approach is objectively superior, they simply prioritize different forms of intelligence. Coding and technical performance. In software development tasks, GPT 5.4 thinking generally demonstrates stronger algorithmic reasoning. Its architecture is optimized for structured logic, allowing it to decompose coding problems efficiently. Developers often notice that GPT models generate cleaner implementations for complex algorithms or system design questions. When debugging, GPT 5.4 tends to identify root causes faster. Claude Opus 4.6 can still perform well in coding environments, particularly when explaining code or analyzing architecture decisions. However, its strength lies more in explanation than raw algorithmic generation. In the developer world, GPT models often feel like engineering assistants, while Claude feels like a documentation expert. Writing, creativity, and analysis.
In creative and analytical writing tasks, Claude Opus 4.6 shows a distinct advantage.
Its reflective reasoning approach allows it to maintain nuanced tone, consider multiple viewpoints, and build coherent narratives. For essays, research summaries, and philosophical discussions, Claude's responses often feel more deliberate and balanced. GPT 5.4 is still extremely capable in writing tasks, but sometimes prioritizes clarity and structure over narrative depth. That makes it excellent for structured reports or instructional content, though occasionally less exploratory in tone. Safety and alignment philosophy. Another difference lies in design philosophy. Anthropic has heavily emphasized safety and alignment in Claude's architecture. Claude models are known for cautious responses and strong adherence to ethical constraints. OpenAI's GPT 5.4, while also aligned with safety frameworks, often prioritizes capability and versatility. This allows it to operate effectively across a broader range of technical and analytical tasks. The trade-off is subtle but noticeable. Claude may decline or redirect more queries, while GPT models tend to attempt solutions more aggressively. Long context and memory. Both models have dramatically expanded context windows compared to earlier generations. This allows them to process massive amounts of information in a single interaction. GPT 5.4 thinking shines when analyzing extremely large datasets or multi-document inputs. Its reasoning loops allow it to maintain structural coherence even when dealing with thousands of lines of information. Claude Opus 4.6 also performs well with long documents, but often focuses on summarization and interpretation rather than structural computation. This makes it particularly strong in academic research and policy analysis environments. The human experience of each model.
From a user perspective, interacting with these systems feels noticeably different.
GPT 5.4 often behaves like a confident problem solver. It quickly identifies patterns, proposes solutions, and iterates toward the answer. Claude Opus 4.6 feels more conversational and reflective. It explores possibilities and explains reasoning in a narrative style. These differences influence how people choose which AI to use for different tasks. Which AI actually thinks better? The truth is that thinking in AI does not mean consciousness or self-awareness. Both models simulate reasoning processes through advanced pattern recognition and probabilistic modeling, but their internal architectures create different styles of reasoning. GPT 5.4 excels in structured logic and computational analysis. Claude Opus 4.6 excels in reflective reasoning and contextual interpretation. The winner depends entirely on the task. The bigger trend is AI that reasons. The real story isn't which model wins, it's that AI is evolving from pattern generation to structured reasoning systems. Earlier models predicted words. Modern models evaluate ideas. That shift is pushing artificial intelligence closer to general problem-solving capability. Each generation improves the ability to plan, analyze, and synthesize information. This evolution is why many experts believe the next few years will define the trajectory towards more generalized AI systems. What comes next? If GPT 5.4 thinking and Claude Opus 4.6 thinking represent the current frontier, the next generation of models will likely expand reasoning even further.
Hybrid architectures combining computational analysis and reflective reasoning may emerge. Future systems could simulate entire decision frameworks, evaluating complex problems across economic, technical, and ethical dimensions simultaneously. In other words, the next stage of AI may not just answer questions, it may help shape decisions. The battle between GPT 5.4 thinking and Claude Opus 4.6 thinking highlights two distinct visions of artificial intelligence. One focuses on speed, precision, and computational reasoning. The other prioritizes reflection, nuance, and contextual understanding. Both approaches represent extraordinary progress in AI capability, and together they signal something bigger. Machines are beginning to simulate reasoning processes that once belonged exclusively to humans. The AI race is accelerating faster than anyone expected. New models are appearing almost monthly, each pushing intelligence a little further. If you want to stay ahead of the biggest AI breakthroughs, like the video